was not had just by me.
No,
And
it
the
was
title
not.
is Fanciest Dinner Ever for the live stream.
Cool.
So Rachel and I just got back from the fanciest dinner I have ever eaten. And Rachel agrees, fanciest dinner she's ever eaten too. It was this 5-course preset menu at the Elderberry House. And I've been to so many restaurants in my life. I've been to plenty of fancy restaurants, but I have never really truly done fine dining, I guess, like that. When you do fine dining, it's it's just like on TV where like they come out and they go, if they were to serve you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? They'd say, "I present you uh, hand muddled legumes with a compote of elderberries on an artisan brioche." You know, that's how they describe peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Well, that's how they did every course tonight. Every course they brought out. First, they they brought us this one's not on the menu. It's a welcome amuse bouche from the chef. And what was it? It was potatoes and leeks, basically like super fancy potato salad with trout roe on top of it. And then this like these little miniature leek tarts with caviar on top of it. And if you're like me and any other sane person, you say trout roe, caviar. That sounds disgusting. Wow, I agree with you. It sounds disgusting, but it was so good. I couldn't believe how delicious it was. I ate every bit of trout roe and every bit of caviar. It was came on top of this stuff, and it was just so complex in the flavor, everything, just like they say on TV. And we got mocktails. Um, they have this like fake whiskey that they used to make these fake whiskey sours that were delicious. The fake like lemon drop basically, which like had fake gin in it. That didn't really taste like gin to me. But the fake whiskey really tasted like whiskey. Oh yes, Daddy knows. You've been starving in isolation, waiting for me to come home so I could watch you eat. And as you may be able to see, I got all dressed up for the occasion. Rachel got dressed up too. And the place was just really well done across the board. The decor, everything inside, it was a perfect execution of California fancy, which is a little less fancy than maybe other places, but still pretty fancy, right? It had excellent paintings on the wall, even though they were like not trying to break any artistic ground or anything. They were excellently done, high quality paintings by some artist who knows what they're doing. There's a real fireplace with fire in it, and we got a table right next to it. We got like the best table because we were the first people to show up for dinner at 6 o'clock. The other people who showed up, they seemed to have reservations at 7 or 7:30 or something. Anyway, on the way down to this place, we stopped by the flower and cake place that did our Christmas decorations to return the parts that we had to return. And um and you know, I mentioned to her that we were could we drop it off at 5:30 today because we have 6 o'clock dinner reservations at the Elderberry House for Rachel's birthday. And so when we got down there, she's like, "Oh, actually, I did their Christmas decorations too, and in fact, their mantle in there is still like my the de-Christmased mantle decorations I'd put up, left up for winter now, you know." So I was able to mention to the waitress, "Oh, because we were sitting right next to the mantle that she had decorated too, where they put us, right next to the fireplace." I said, "Oh, the lady who decorated your mantle is the same lady that decorated our house for Christmas." And she's like, "Oh yeah, we've been working with her for years." And in fact, the lady at the fireplace said, "Oh yeah, I work with Erica, the manager there, a lot." And then Erica was our waitress. She's not just the manager there; she's one of the wait staff. They don't have a lot of employees there because, like, there maybe were. I bet they did 5 or 6 tables total for the whole evening. But of course, it's super expensive, so they don't need to. They don't need to move a lot of people through there to make it profitable. Not the sort of dinner Rachel and I will have very often, obviously. It's a special occasion sort of dinner. But I feel very pleased that we went and did it. And I think Rachel does as well. And it was about as good as food can get.
Oh my gosh, it was delicious. My taste buds were like going all over the place.
Yeah, I know. If if you think all that fancy food talk that you hear on like the food channel or whatever is ridiculous, I get it. I also think it's kind of ridiculous. But when you go have like fine dining that's attempting to like succeed at the top level of fine dining, you kind of understand why they talk like that. Like, oh, the complex flavor profile first hits your tongue with this, and then it evolves into this, and maybe yeah, that's how the food was. It was like crazy, crazy, like Top Chef food or
Yeah,
whatever.
I had to keep on looking at the menu to make sure like what we were eating
Yeah,
because I couldn't tell at first.
and the star of the whole night, much to I suspect both Rachel and my surprise, my favorite thing the whole night.
Me too.
Was what, Rachel?
The halibut.
The halibut with brown butter, meow meow meow, whatever they called it.
Oh my gosh.
Like the best fish I've ever had.
Me too. Hands down.
Yeah, hands down the best fish I've ever had. Alaskan halibut with this sauce on it. It was just so good. The ribeye was fantastic too. Uh, it was just buttery, melt in your mouth.
Yeah.
Dark academia outfit. Well, I was actually musing when we were heading down there and we stopped at this gas station to get gas, and there's a guy who was in a truck on the other side of the gas pumps. Got out and we made eye contact briefly and nodded at each other and in middle-aged man fashion. Well, I don't know, maybe something on his facial expression or something, but I realized in that moment that probably this guy thought I was coming from a wake or something. Because I'm all in a black suit this isn't a black tie, it's got blue and black on it and white. But The rest of my outfit is all black and white. So I think no, we each got the 5 course set menu, which had both proteins. It had the halibut and the ribeye in separate courses.
Mm-hmm.
The mushrooms were also delicious.
Yeah, they were.
It's one of the things I didn't finish all of because even though the mushrooms were delicious, I I have too much in my head that I don't like mushrooms.
Mm.
So
But you thought the squash was good.
I did eat all the squash, but it didn't look like squash. It just looked like some kind of baby food, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the mushroom, I had like this big piece of mushrooms, big pieces of mushroom that even though it was delicious, I just have a lot of bad SI associations
Oh.
with eating mushrooms because I normally eat disgusting psilocybin mushrooms.
Yeah, I was expecting that taste too.
So I just, at the end, I didn't eat all of the mushrooms. Yeah, there was a side dish. Yeah, they were a side dish, I'd say. And the Brussels sprouts, they were barely represented
Yes.
at all.
Yes.
There was like just a few leaves of Brussels sprouts.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly it was the mushroom, but it was with this delicious sauce. I don't know
Yes.
what kind of sauce it was.
And like the seasoning of the mushrooms was really good too.
Yeah. And then we ended up having 2 desserts. We got this. It was basically like pumpkin pie ice cream with snickerdoodle tasting
Yes.
thing, crispy thing on top of it. That was delicious. And then because it was Rachel's birthday, we got an extra little chocolate mint tart thing at the end as well with a candle on them. It's like this is the kind of place that when they serve the like the tarts or whatever, they come on a plate that has a bunch of little rocks and twigs and stuff on it, and then they get artfully placed on the rocks and twigs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're really trying to hit you visually as well as taste wise,
Yeah.
flavor wise. And you know, even the coffee was spectacular.
Oh, it was spectacular.
I don't like olives either, yet love Greek hummus. Well, Greek hummus maybe uses olive oil, but I don't think it's made out of olives, is it?
It depends on if it's hummus with olives.
I mean, isn't hummus made specifically out of like garbanzo beans?
Garbanzo beans, yeah.
So if it were made out of olives, would it still be called hummus?
Hi, Mrs. Mom. You are so right about the halibut. Like, it tasted like
Heaven.
yeah. It was even better than lobster, and you had compared it to.
It was
lobster.
better than the ribeye.
It was better than.
And the ribeye was like the highest quality ribeye beef you can get. It was just a medallion of it. And we just told the lady, you know, she said, is medium rare okay? And we just said, just however the chef wants to make it, you know?
Yeah.
And we ate it was pinker than I would ever order it normally. But it was perfect.
Oh my gosh, it was like butter.
I wouldn't have changed it at all. So yeah, thank you, Winston's mom. I think we're delighted for us too.
Yeah.
I think we both feel like it was a delightful experience and a new experience. You know, I'm surprised to say, hi, Ruben. I'm surprised to say that at 52 years old, I could still say the following thing. Wow, that was the fanciest dinner I've ever been to. Like, I would have figured I'd sort of explored all possible restaurant experiences, really. But I've never had a set menu kind of thing like that.
I've never had anything like that
Where you
before.
just leave your fate in the hands of the chef.
Yeah. Oh, and so good. Like it's just like a classy place.
Yeah.
Like great service.
Yeah, the service was great, and I'm glad I dressed up. I could have dressed less and not violated a dress code or something, but I didn't feel overdressed. I
No,
felt like happy to be dressed up.
me too. It was nice. It was nice to dress up a little bit. Yeah, I thought that you meant that Karma's Pimp, that the Greek hummus has olives in it.
Yeah, I know you said Greek hummus, Karma's fan, but I was just hypothesizing that to be called hummus at all, in my mind, it should have to be made out of garbanzo beans. I did not know the garbanzo beans and chickpeas were the same. Thank you for informing me of that. Does it make sense what your emojis meant?
Let me see.
Let me go up and see.
You looking cool?
You look cool. Huh.
Is
I
that
wonder if
what you were saying?
I wonder if I would have figured that out. You wear sunglasses? Rachel,
Why? Because it's green?
Rachel changed, okay?
Yeah, I changed.
She didn't go to dinner like this.
No,
I haven't
no.
changed
I
yet.
had a dress on.
Yeah. So, the dessert was delicious. It was like basically pumpkin pie snickerdoodle ice cream with crispy things.
No, I got it. I thought you were saying it because of the color.
Yes, we we did take pictures and videos, which uh, mostly I took little shorts, which I will upload at some point. But what was that?
Trouble.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he's scared to be back upstairs.
I mean, it's pretty
No,
clear.
I thought I got
It
it.
is pretty clear. I was saying, I wonder, because Rachel said it before I began to process it.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. I was saying, I wonder if I would have gotten it. I don't know. I already watched you eat, silly boy.
Alright, I'll see if he'll let me watch it.
He's done eating. I watched him eat in full.
Seriously?
So he finished and then walked away. He's
He goes and he cheats upstairs.
Yeah, well, if I could just catch him before he does it, I'll throw a lighter at him, but. So another June bug this morning came into the house after, I guess it must have been after I stopped live streaming. Maybe it was during, but I think it was after. The June bug came in and it landed on the floor and Trouble started batting it around. So I rescued it and put it outside. But I was pleased with the research suggesting that June bugs are an omen of good luck. I was talking with Rachel at dinner also about how right now really feels like a chapter change / shift in feelings, attitudes, mood, ontology. I would say this shift began on the Saturday of Super Wild Card weekend, actually, and really like kicked into okay, next chapter on Tuesday, which involved both a, a shifting of time spaces because Ruben and Acacia left, a shifting of chapters because it was Rachel's birthday, a shifting of mindsets because it was birthday. I got Adderall in quite some time, and and then also representing an overarching shifting in like my perspective because it's coming up very close on 1 year since we moved here. So there's a lot of synchronicities in terms of timings and stuff that make me really feel like right now marks the beginning of a good and interesting chapter. It's always hard to say how long a chapter will last. It could last for as little as a couple of weeks or as long as a few months or, even longer maybe depending on the nature of the chapter. Like there were some long, slow chapters during COVID where nothing really seemed to be changing, except just sort of getting slowly shittier. Other chapters are pretty quick, like um, I guess I would say that the from Christmas party until Tuesday represented kind of one chapter, or from a few days before the Christmas party when I started really kicking it into gear, maybe a couple days before, um, straight through to Tuesday, Rachel's birthday slash the changing from holiday times, which included two Ruben and Acacia visits, and Christmas, New Year's, etc., to post holiday time, meeting up. So I would say like the chapter preceding this one lasted like about a month and a week, about 5 weeks. Who knows how long this chapter will last? Yeah, I think maybe that's what I intended the house the house tour thing slash Christmas party to be. Um, and I feel like I got a little more completion on that experience with the happy happenstance that the lady who decorated our house and our mantles happened to also decorate the mantle of the restaurant we went to tonight, which made me feel this sort of like big community linkage. But, ultimately, Rachel and I certainly fit in with the local community just fine. But the reality is, this is our community. Talking with famous people is our community. It's the people that we want to spend time with and hang out with. And, well, we certainly want to feel like welcomed and integrated members of our geographical community. Ultimately, geographical communities are not good ways to form communities because they're not built on any commonality except location. So, anyway, this is the menu. that we got. And you see here it says, a warm welcome to the Strauss party. Happy birthday, Rachel. It says on there. We took the menu home. Because, like they said when we sat down, the menus are customized for you to keep and take with you. So, we're like, oh yeah, we'll take the menus. Why not? Rachel likes to pen stuff on her bulletin board and stuff. You know?
Yeah.
So, I feel like sure, it was an expensive dinner. Probably the most expensive dinner I've ever had. But when when they go that out of their way to make it like super special, it totally feels worth it. Like I'd rather eat at home for like 4 other times when we might go out to eat and have that special occasion or something. It's like I said, it's hard for me to find like new surprising experiences at 52 years old in a field as basic as SI, like eating food. But I got to have such a new experience tonight. And that was very nice. And of course, it always makes me happy to feel as though I'm making Rachel happy, or that Rachel feels well loved and cared for. And I felt like she felt that way tonight. So that was nice. It always makes me happy. I could use a little chapstick. My lips seem to be a bit chapped for some reason. So, I'm applying the universal law right now, which is if you feel like you can poop some, poop some. There will never be an occasion when afterwards you're like, man, I wish I hadn't pooped then. I wish I had saved it for later. That will never happen. So, if that's what your concern is unfounded, overblown. I'm kind of curious about what that place is besides a restaurant, because when you look at the sign, it's like the Elderberry House and Chateau de Mimimieux Spa. Is it a hotel? Is it just like a day spa? I'm not sure. But it does appear that the restaurant is part of a complex of several buildings that something else goes on there besides just the restaurant. The restaurant / bar. And then in a happy bit of serendipity, when the bill came, I had exact change, just like exactly the amount of money that the thing cost, like to the dollar, not to the cent maybe, but it could have been to the cent even. I had exact change, then I would have had an extra dollar bill. And they have a, like, you don't say how much you're gonna tip. They tell you ahead of time, like we included 22% gratuity on every bill. So the number on the bill was the total amount, and I had exactly that many dollars in my wallet. And the only reason we had exactly that many dollars was because Rachel amusingly got a birthday card from an aunt who gave her $20, and she said, "Can you put this in your wallet?"
Mm-hmm.
So without that $20, I would have had to put it on the card. But because I had that $20, we were able to pay for it all with the cash I had in my wallet, which was still cash left over from my trip to the casino a couple weeks ago when I won some money. So we paid for it, not out of the winnings, because I spent those on groceries, a couple of other things, but it was still the cash I had originally taken out at the casino. So it felt like, wow, that money I took out of the casino 2 weeks ago sure did go a long way. That felt good. Karma's Pimp, about how could I then ever become the leper of darkest dungeon? Speaking of Miaz, apparently, according to his live stream title, as far as I can tell, Taylor is the hardest MFer on these YouTube screes.
What does that make you?
Maybe the softest MFer
Oh,
on these YouTube
I
screes.
like that actually.
Yeah. I'm still an MFer.
Yeah, still in a MFR, but the soft.
Yeah, I'm still a superlative MFer too. He's the hardest, right? I'm the softest.
True.
I'm not middle of the road at all. That's the point. Well, Karma's Pimp, the reality is, if I didn't go to the bathroom on stream, I would have to have short streams.
Yeah.
Or I just have to let you chat among yourselves while I went to the bathroom. But I feel like it would be rude of me to exclude you from my bathrooming. Certain breeds of armadillos are carriers of leprosy. So no matter how much you want to cuddle with one, don't. It's a warning to Acacia. Acacia, keep that in mind. With a light tomatillo gravy, grilled armadillo scrotum. You know what? I don't remember if it was on the menu, but if it was
Trouble.
strangely delicious. Trouble, you need to be nice, or I'm going to throw a lighter at you. Is that what you want? Trouble?
He hears himself. Yeah, he hears it.
Yeah. Like, if I try to talk to Capilla like that, I get a clear understanding that she's not processing any of my language.
She's so FE polar. Like, I try to do the blink thing with her, and she looks at me like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Trouble's super responsive to
Yeah.
all of our body language
Yeah, he is.
cues of various sorts. It's the watching trouble eat principle. Watching host Eric urinate or
Mm.
defecate is the trouble principle. It troubles some more than others. Yeah, it does trouble some more than others.
That's a good
That's a
point,
good
actually.
point. But it is also definitely the trouble principle that I can go to the bathroom without anybody watching, but I seem to do it a lot less.
It feels so authentic when you do. It really does. Like, I'm like, wow, you just don't hide anything.
Well, it's like if everybody were here in person, I would obviously say, okay, I'm going to the
Yeah,
bathroom now,
yeah.
and I won't be chatting with you while I'm in the bathroom.
No.
But live stream allows me to continue chatting with you. And it's not like you have to experience any of the smells. And also, all you do is look at the door. Who asked me, was being in TWFE house what I expected, and if anything surprised you? I will ask you that. Was being in the TWFE house what you expected? Did anything surprise you? I want to know. It's exactly what I expected. It's a 24-hour live stream. Live stream. I mean, it is the case that I think it's fair to say I'm basically exactly the same whether I'm streaming or not streaming in terms of my affect. I might be a little more talkative when I'm streaming. I mean, I'm a lot more talkative when I'm streaming because I feel like when I'm streaming, the purpose of me streaming is to fill the sound vacuum with my words. Ah, I meant to ask you about that, Ruben. I'm so glad you brought that up because I was looking forward to saying to you, so what do you think about the whole house
Mhm.
vacuum? And then I forgot to ask you before you left.
It really is like a 24-hour live stream. I mean, I go to sleep. I don't fall asleep, but like I go to bed and streams are going, and then I wake up and streams are going. It's sometimes I'm a part of it on screen. Sometimes I'm in the chat.
I don't think anyone saw anyone naked by accident, but there was one night when I thought it was Rachel in the kitchen, and I walked out of the bedroom in my bun huggers, and it was actually Ruben.
Oh no.
But I didn't make it all the way into the kitchen. I think he sort of glanced down the hall and saw a faint silhouette of me and my bun huggers. And then I sort of retreated back into the bedroom.
Oh no, I'm so sorry that happened.
Well, that's okay. If it had been my boxers, I would have just been like, whatever. But bun huggers, they're a pretty intimate form of underwear.
They are.
They're kind of like the bikini of underwear.
Well, Ruben R, I like that icon. What is it?
It's a headless ballroom dancer.
It kind of does look like that.
That was really the biggest change in terms of impact of having them here over not having them here. The only really notable change for me was I put on pants before I left the bedroom. Well, the other one being I close the bathroom door when I go to the
Oh,
bathroom.
that's true. Yeah, me too.
Other than that, it didn't impact my routines at all, which is nice.
Yeah, no, it didn't at all. It is nice.
It's a function of being in a house that's designed to accommodate up to 6 adults. So 4 adults, It's easy squeezy.
Yeah.
We, Ruben and Acacia obviously make an effort to not impose on us, but
No.
The the space is such that they don't have to work that hard to not impose on us.
That's true too.
I like to wear diapers and a coconut bra. Okay, well, good to know.
That is good to know.
Good to know. I'll keep that in mind. So, what Ruben saw there, it's kind of like looking at a welding torch. His cornea's got a slightly burned, but I'm confident he'll recover full eyesight with time. Right? It's a well designed house. It's like, I may not think of it in terms of feng shui, but if I define feng shui, I'd say whatever going on here is good feng shui.
It is. It is. The layout is very good feng shui. There's like there's no kitchen than a bedroom. That's bad feng shui because like they say like the energy from the kitchen goes into the bedroom.
Then you start feeling like hamburgers and hot dogs.
Yeah. But it is easy to walk around. Like, if you're coming from upstairs and you want to get to the kitchen, you don't have to go through the living room to get to it. You can go around.
Right. This little circle area here is like a good version of those horrible traffic circles in France or Rome.
Yes.
Like who thought that was a good design to get people?
Oh, it's terrible. It's so confusing.
It's like everybody going around in a circle and then try to make your way over. The whole house vacuum is on the level of the dumbwaiter as things you want in your house. I want both. All right, anybody ever heard of those vacuums you plug into your house? That's what I was like when he's like, oh, it's got this whole house vacuum. I had actually just first learned about him a couple years prior to that because in Laverne, that house had the holes, but it didn't have the vacuum.
Oh.
And I was like, what are these holes?
Yeah.
And I was told, oh, there's this thing called a whole house vacuum that this used to be attached to, but I was like, whole house? What are you talking about? You mean it like sucks the dirt through the walls? And she's like, yeah. But I'd never seen it in action until we moved into this place. And it is super convenient. And also, it's like a very powerful vacuum. It sucks hard.
So apparently, Boba Fett, from what I've learned about feng shui, is that if your head faces north, it's like bad luck because it's like the coffin position is what they call it.
It could be either one, Ruben. Could be either one. You make a good point. So are our heads when we lie in bed, are they facing west or east?
They are facing. Hold on.
Because the top of our head is pointing west, but our face is pointing east.
I think it means like the head, like your head
The
against
top
the
of your
head,
head.
but yeah.
Like draw a line through the bottom of your chin, out the top of your head. That's which way your head's pointing?
Yeah. Right. No. Like, so like if I'm sleeping like this.
Uh-huh.
Like this area. You're
facing east.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're lying in bed, we're facing east.
Yeah. Let me see on the compass.
Well, obviously,
Yeah, east.
and the interesting thing to note about that is the bedroom is designed such that there's no way anybody would ever put the bed so that it's your head's facing north because it would be pushed up against the closets.
Yeah.
I doubt when they designed this house they thought about that stuff, but it just coincidentally lines up such that the bedroom is set up so that it's almost impossible to have your head facing north.
There's no beds that face north, I believe. Yeah.
The lesson I'm taking away from this, says Ruben, is to never face north.
Yeah, I know. The Chinese really don't like the north position. I don't know what it is.
What you want to do, Ruben, instead of ever facing north, is face east. To face east, and then if you have to, turn left. Okay.
The best we face northeast. It's different though than direct north.
Well, I mean, it would be. You mean it's pointing that way?
I'm confused.
Because if what you're saying about the directionality of your head is, then even if our bed's not due east-west, our face would be facing southeast, not northeast.
I'm confused.
Okay, well, the good thing is it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because
it doesn't
regardless of how you directional the head, we're not north.
No. It's
no matter how you think of the head direction, it can't possibly be that we're head facing north than when we're in bed. So
yeah.
East, west, I don't know. Which is better? Do they say which is better, east or west?
Either is, I don't know. They have rules about that stuff too. Like if your birthday adds up to a certain number, so like yours adds up to a number 2. Your best directions, I think, are like southwest, northeast. There are rules upon rules when it comes to
that just sounds like Dave's superpowers.
It is, yo, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know about facing north for your bed. But I've just been in north facing houses and I'm like, I get what they mean. Like,
there's a darkness.
Yeah.
And evil. An evil wind blows down from the north.
Don't listen to me.
It's fine, darling. Well, I will say this, like, even though there's no particular reason to choose any particular side of the house to go smoke at, right? I've got ashtrays on the deck on the west side. I've got ashtray facing north. I mean, I go at the back to the north, there's an ashtray. I got an ashtray here on the east side of the house, and I got an ashtray here on the south side of the house. But 90% of the time, I am either in front facing south or in the garage facing north, because I sit in the chair with the cushion on it rather than the chair on the other side of the table is facing south, which does not have a cushion on it.
Yeah.
The reason I sit in that, so in other words, the reason I face north in the garage has absolutely nothing to do with which direction I want to face, just which chair happens to have the cushion on it. But I would say that sitting in the garage to smoke is naturally a southern-oriented place to sit, because the outside door of the garage is to the south of where we sit. You know, I just happen to be sitting on the other side of the table. I will say that when I go out in the back to smoke, which is rarely, Um, I'm more likely actually to continue facing south because I want the trees behind me in the camera. And I basically never smoke in the backyard unless I'm live streaming.
Yeah, it's true.
So in that instance, also, even though I'm facing south in a naturally north facing spot, it had nothing to do with which direction it is. It has something unrelated. And the garage is the cushion. Out back, it's what I want as the background of the picture.
Yeah.
So you could, however, if you were to evaluate all my behaviors, say, you see, you naturally, everyone does. They naturally want to face south. If you would just evaluate where I happen to stand, it would make perfectly good sense to say, hey, Eric, you're not even aware of this feng shui shit. Feng shui shit. So why is it that you end up facing south all the time? Well, I would point out, anytime I'm sitting here, I'm actually facing north. We spend most of our time looking at this TV.
You know, and it's so freaking confusing because when they talk about the direction the house faces, it doesn't talk about where you are facing out. It's you're looking out the door. That's the face of the house.
Right. Well, sure, because because the face of the house can't change depending on what window you're looking at.
So I think that our legs face northeast then. Yeah.
The best direction to sleep are east and south directions so that the head is towards east or south while the legs point towards west or north. Okay, so if we wanted to obey that, head is toward east or south, then we'd have to just turn our bed around so that our feet were at the window and our head were in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
That would seem weird to me.
No. Yeah.
It would seem backwards to get into bed, to walk into bed like this and get in like this, you know.
But we are. So like our heads are.
Our heads are pointing to the west, Rachel.
Okay.
Our feet are pointing to the east.
Northeast, yeah.
I mean, you say northeast, but I'm pretty sure this house is aligned directly on east, west, north, south.
It's a little off.
It's a little off? Okay.
Yeah. According to my compass, anyway.
Maybe it is a little off, but it wouldn't surprise me if people generally, like contractors or whatever, generally try to line it up with the magnetic direction.
Yes, I think they do.
North career, northeast knowledge, and center health. So the center of this house doesn't really have anything except it's like this intersection of hallway, dining room, hallway, half bath.
Mm-hmm. Our wherever this is like the room for entertainment. It's actually like
this is the living room, you know. It's
and in feng shui, it's supposed to be the
it is
living room too. Yeah.
What you mean the southeast corner?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, is the
like,
northeast corner supposed to be the kitchen?
I don't know. Where does it say? What does it say? Synchronicity. I don't know.
It's good feng shui. What's that? It's Chinese for throwing out your crap.
Yeah, it is. That's what they really mean. I like when I was unhealthy and like manic sometimes, I would make sure that like my room was as balanced as it could be to bring in like I got a little, it made me nutty. It made me like obsessive, compulsive, and then I was like, screw this. Like I'm not using. I can't use this as guidelines. It's too strict.
Okay, Ruben, what I want you to do is I want you to take some measurements in the morning about your energy. Okay.
Yeah,
And then tomorrow night, I want you to sleep with your legs directly pointing west. And then the next morning, I want you to also take more measurements regarding your energy. Alternate with all the directions multiple times to build up a set of data and inform us which direction of sleeping impacts energy in which way. Yeah, you're gonna need to build up a crap ton of data. I want you to drop everything else you've got going on now, Ruben, and turn your attention to this.
You can write a book about it. It'd be a bestseller.
Yeah, probably would. Feng Shui takes its name from two of the most powerful forces in that landscape. Feng meaning wind and Shui meaning water. When wind and water flow too fast, the result is destruction, hurricanes, floods, tsunamis. When they flow too slowly, the result is heavy air, murky water, and stagnation. What do I name the book?
The directions I've lived.
The Directions I've Lived is great.
Eastern feet, western feet.
Eastern feet, western feet.
Yes, that's great. Good. Yes,
is great, but I would go in somewhere similar, like like something that says like either lie this direction, live that direction. You know?
Yes.
But name it Ruben's Code. Ruben's Code is not a bad name for it, actually.
It can make it a whole new way of using feng shui. It's the Rubens Code.
Also, I'm thinking this can be an illustrated kind of Kama Sutra book, but for sleeping.
Yeah.
For your legs. Like they'll have a picture of Ruben sleeping with like one leg like this and one leg like this. And this is like to maximize spiritual equilibrium or something.
Oh my fucking god. This is the shit that I look up.
It's basically sleep yoga. He has this book training people to sleep in these crazy, ridiculous, uncomfortable positions. Sleeping like this.
It gives you this sort of energy.
Sleeping like this will circulate your chi more effectively.
Oh my god.
You get all these people trying to do that. That's so evil, it sounds like something eBay would do. I think, you know how, like, you got these sort of brand archetypes of good and evil, like Jesus and Hitler. I think eBay should become like the Hitler corporations, you know? Where when anybody says, that's what eBay would do, people just go, okay, well, just because eBay did it doesn't mean it's evil. I mean, Hitler had breakfast, that doesn't mean it's evil. People just know anytime they reference eBay, they're producing a universally accepted villain. So, did I leave my beverage inside? I think I probably did. Yes. This isn't going to be an extremely long live stream. But I'm surprisingly wakeful and energetic. Like, I got like no sleep last night, but I did get a decent amount of sleep today during the day. Probably a total of 5 or 6 hours. Um, but instead of feeling kind of tore up and like tired and lacking in amphetamines in my bloodstream or whatever, I feel like peppy and jazzed, like a cross between Bob Mackie and Rudolph Steiner. I'm not even really sure who Rudolph Steiner is, but it, something in my soul said those are the two names I'm looking for. What does that sound? Maybe it was Rachel listening to something, I'm not sure. Billy Bragg has successfully laid claim to that expression in my consciousness, in my SI linkages. Every time I say, "What is that sound?" I immediately want to say, "Where is it coming from? All around? What are we running from? Something you don't understand, something you cannot command, that's how I know." Because that song begins with, "What is that sound? Where is it coming from? All around. What are you running from?" It's a great song. It's good to start your songs with commonly said expressions like that because it'll enslave people like it enslaves me. I'm being quiet because I'm listening. I'm not sure if that sound was Rachel's phone. If not, I have no idea where that's coming from. Hi, Katia. Do you want to go inside? Trouble? Be nice. Okay, he's fine. Oh, cat puke. There's cat puke by your Swiss Army knife. I'll get it in a second. Lou, fancy birthday dinner was absolutely delightful. And so fancy. Now, if you've ever watched the shows like Top Chef, you've probably seen how they talk about it like, here we have line caught Arctic char braised in a meow reduction with meow 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 or meow. it was a like it was a 5-course preset, right? Everything they put in front of us had a little spiel in front of it like that. Like they put the food not just on a plate. They put a plate with like a little bed of pebbles and then artfully placed the food on top of the pebbles and stuff. It was fantastic, really. Everything was shockingly good. It's like it's easy to just think that stuff's ridiculous when you just see it on TV, you know. But when you taste it done that well, you're like, wow, this is fucking crazy good. How do you cook stuff like this? The first dish that wasn't on it was not on the list of dishes in the 5-course or the extra dish that they gave us. A new amuse bouche. It was potatoes and leeks with fish eggs on top of it. Okay. That's not what they called it. Of course, that's not how they described it. Here's some potato salad with fish eggs. That's basically what it was. But it was fucking fantastic. I couldn't believe how good it was. I ate every last fish egg. And then the other thing was this little pie, a teeny pie. I think it was made out of leeks or potatoes, one of the two. It had caviar on top of it. Again, delicious. I don't like caviar at all. I do not like fish eggs. The salmon roe, the trout roe that was on top of it, the potato salad, which they did not call potato salad, it looked just like orange or salmon eggs that I'd use to go fishing. I was like, okay, well, we'll see what this tastes like, I guess. I was shocked. It was so good. Not something I would ever order. And that's one of the advantages, I guess, of getting a preset menu is you get to try things that you would never order. I would probably never order any of those things except for the ribeye. The best thing in the whole dinner was something I would never in a billion years order. Halibut. It was spectacular. It was the best fish I have ever had. It was incredible. I couldn't believe how good it was, you know. The celery root thing tasted like a combination of celery and Indian food and it was so good, delicious. I ate every bit of the butternut squash. I hate butternut squash. It was delicious. The dessert, I would actually say the first dessert course, because we also got an extra little chocolate mint pie thing.
I didn't even hear what she said what it was. I was just like, oh, we're getting another dessert?
Yeah, but it was because it was Rachel's birthday. They brought it with a candle. Anyway, I think the least impressive course of the whole dinner was the first dessert, the pumpkin pie snickerdoodle thing. It was very delicious, but it didn't impress me like every single other thing did.
No, right. It was delicious. But...
Yeah, it was delicious, but it didn't feel like so super special and fancy like every single other thing else did, you know? Also, we were pretty damn full at that point. Good for you. Rachel's following the universal law. When you can go poop, you should go poop.
Did I not flush?
No, he said you have to go poop, right? What did you say you had to?
Oh, no. I don't know what I said. What did I say?
I thought you said you had to go poop, but maybe you said...
no, I do.
You have to go...
Food baby is what I said.
Oh, you have food baby.
Yeah.
I misheard you.
Yeah, I'm all stuffed up.
Well, I got the cat puke.
Oh, I meant to get that. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I squirted a little bit with some squirtings. Also, while I have this in my hand, I might as well just squirt it in the toilet. I'm taking it just regularly squirting that stuff into the toilet, just letting it sit there, and seems to maybe reduce the frequency with which I have to. Well, yeah, he is.
I literally was just there.
Well, I'm coming in to give Capio food.
Oh.
Because she doesn't even have a plate.
Oh, I brought it upstairs. Sorry.
That's okay. I'm not critiquing that. I'm just noticing. There you go, sweetie. Yes. You're wet. How'd you get wet? Is it raining?
Maybe. Meow. Yes.
Boy, if Ruben were still here, this trash would be tied up and set next to the can for me to easily take out. Instead, it's just gonna pile higher and higher. And so finally I say, okay, Eric, that's it. You cannot make any more trash sit on top of that. Thanks, Lou. Lovage has a kind of complex flavor like that. A celeriac. Well, it's true that by January most people are pumpkined out.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that, but it is a good point. It was not seasonally consistent with, it wasn't seasonally consistent, and it wasn't really. It was consistent with the other flavors, like kind of tied in with the butternut squash or kind of, but I think it was a miss in part because it's not seasonally consistent.
Right. Yeah. Our palate must have said something to us, this is good, but something's not flowing.
Yeah.
But it still was really good. I would have eaten the whole thing if I weren't so full.
Yeah, me too. It's not that the Ruben wants to help; it's that he likes tying up trash. It's a good point tonight. Thank
I'm
you,
so
Ruben.
glad you like to tie the trash.
You want to talk about some backslot SENI? Maybe it was Tuesday, the day they were leaving or something. Maybe it was Monday night. I'm not sure. I think it was Tuesday. I walked up to the street to get the trash cans. In order to walk up to the street to get the trash cans, I had to walk past all 4 of the trash cans, which Ruben had placed right by the front door. So it would be impossible for me not to notice them. I obliviously walked right past all four of the trash cans that he had already brought down from the street. Walked up on the street. It was dark. It's like, where are the trash cans? I flicked my lighter to look a little bit. So did someone steal my trash cans? No, probably not. And I walked back and they were right there by the front door. That's some unconscious SENI ignoring SI driving the boat entirely. I remember that I haven't gotten the trash cans yet. Therefore, they are still up on the street. Object permanence for the win. Object permanence for the win is a great sentence. It's not really a complete sentence, to be honest. But it's complete enough. Okay, so I would like to pull a couple of bong rips. My lungs do feel a little bit cashed right now. But I think part of the problem is this is a little resiny, you know? And so it makes the bong rips hit a little harsher.
Yes.
Great example makes me think my dad is SENI backstack. I can plant a large tree in the front yard and he won't notice. Yeah, well, I've joked about that with Rachel before. How, like, if I'm in the middle of telling her something, a bear could walk in front of the car and she'd be like, very politely, wait for me to pause for a breath and say, just don't mean to bother you, but there is a bear right there.
That's me 100%.
And I'm like, oh yeah, bear. Anyway.
Although sometimes you notice things that I don't.
Well, when we're driving,
Yeah.
I notice a lot more stuff than you do.
Yeah.
Like I always notice wildlife and stuff.
Yes.
I think it's because when I'm driving, I'm sort of forced to SE anyway. I think that really happens. Might happen sometimes when we're walking around too, but it would have to be something like that. It would be more likely to be something that's word related too. For example, I'll notice that Mia had a sign that said Mia, and I was sort of operating under the assumption that you must have seen and read that sign too.
Yeah, you're much better.
And then sometime later on, I'll reference something that assumes you've read and seen that sign too. And you'd be like, well, how do you know that? And I said, well, it was written on a sign there. Yeah.
Yeah, like your skills at like reading stuff that should be read is like.
It's not necessarily that it should be read, right? It's like, I am hyper word focused.
Yes.
But that is not either a good or a bad thing.
Well, sometimes it's good because like there could be important information in like a small area that everyone thinks, oh, this isn't important, I'm not going to read it, and they skip past it and it's actually important.
Well, but it's also things like on that commercial where it's the lady's typing something onto her phone into the like Expedia AI chat or something. And it just flashes up on the screen for a second, but I end up reading it and going, why does it say recos? Do people really say recos?
Yeah.
I want some recos for this thing? Can you
Like
reco
recommendations?
something? Don't people say, "Can I want some recs?" Maybe like recommendations,
Oh,
or use the
recommendation.
whole term. Recos, what is that?
No.
And then I asked Ruben about it, and he said, "Well, the commercial just wants to make sure nobody's confused,
Oh.
but they barely show it on the screen at all. It just flashes there for a second. There's other commercial where this guy's jogging. It's a commercial for this like protein drink that you drink after working out or whatever. And on his watch, it flashes this message: breast milk is the best after workout drink. But it just flashes it there for a second. I don't know how many people see it.
Luminix, I was thinking about you today also because I heard about the bad weather in Portland. So you lost power for a few hours. How often does that happen for you? That can't be. I'm sure that's not something that happens very often.
So it was just an optical illusion. It
Cost
looked,
someone else.
no, it looked from here like there's either a quarter or a 50-cent piece over there.
Is.
Go see.
I saw one on the floor before that there's like a
I think it's an
dime.
optical. Okay, well, there might be a dime, but
Oh no, it's not illusion. It's plastic. Right?
oh, well, I wasn't looking at that thing. I was looking at that thing that looks like a coin next to the black foot of the chair to the right of it, but it's just a spot of lightness or something.
Yeah, there's like a plastic.
Oh, a plastic thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a coin somewhere that I saw.
Well, it wasn't an optical illusion then. It was just a plastic thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen that often, less than a dozen times in the last decade, I'd say. You mean the weather that you're experiencing in Portland, Lou? The Reco reflector makes you searchable to the rescuers. Reco reflectors are lightweight passive transponders that require no power or activation to function. Okay, well, good for them. I will be sure to have one of those next time I get lost in the wilderness.
It doesn't happen that often, less than a dozen times in the last decade, I'd say. But yeah.
I see, you're referring to power outages. There's an invention that needs to be made. If somebody could invent this, they'd be really doing the world a great service. A self-unclogging bong. Like, I just poked this, and it's still clogged.
I think I'm gonna take my medicine and head into bed.
Cool.
I'll be on the chat.
Cool, I will join you in not a super long time.
Okay.
The first one, Ruben. Reco's like that.
Yeah.
I love you too.
Go out.
Right. Well, and the thing about that commercial with the thing on his watch that says breast milk is the best workout drink, I'm not sure if I adequately wiped that off all the way.
Oh.
You might want to wash that off.
Okay.
I mean, the thing about the breast milk one is there's a couple of things going on that are supposed to represent the wrong way to deal with after workout drinks, right? So they show this like aggro guy on a screen in some behind some storefront window, like screaming, but you can't hear it, but you can see him like screaming something about presumably working out. Like that's the wrong way to do after workout drink. But then the thing they flash on the watch is there so briefly that I had to pause it to confirm what I thought I had read. That's how briefly it's there. It's there much briefer than even the Recos thing. This is kind of a little Easter egg. Does that watch say what I think it says? Pause it. Yeah, breast milk is the best after workout drink. Okay, well, that's kind of interesting thing to have in your commercial, I guess. Has anybody else noticed that in that commercial that I'm talking about? Anybody ever seen that commercial? I forget what the after workout drink is, but like, well, I mean, in the commercial, you're supposed to think all things other than this workout drink that this commercial is advertising are as absurd as breast milk as an after workout drink. If you're not drinking insert brand name workout drink after your workout, you're being so silly as to think that breast milk is the best thing to drink. All right, Lou, you go to sleep. You sleep hard, you sleep long, you sleep well. And when you wake, I want you to awaken refreshed. Anyway, I really like dressing up occasionally. Very rarely, maybe. But when I do dress up, I like walking around in a suit because provided it's a not a Warren looking suit. If you have a Warren suit, like a suit that was nice but is frayed around whatever, people might read you as griftery. But if you have a not a Warren looking suit on, then people are just like, oh well, he's obviously got something going on where he needs to look nice, and we don't need to worry about him. He's fine, obviously. He's wearing a suit. I kind of like just being aware of that fact that, uh, especially with the hat, Winston's mom's provision of hats to me has really upped my total wardrobe game a large amount. Because you wear a suit, well, now, you wear a suit with this hat, all of a sudden you're doing something a lot more interesting. It's like, okay, there's a guy in a suit, plus American Gothic. Would I make a good lawyer? Yeah, I'm already a better lawyer than actual lawyers. Having dealt with lawyers on multiple occasions, I can assure you that is the case. Well, thanks, Winston's mom. It's in no small part because you bought me fantastic hats to look nice in. So thank you for that. All right. What I'm going to do now, I still have enough beverage left. I'm going to, I think, go to the garage this time. Sit down, smoke a cigarette. I've got my glasses with me. Now I do. And we'll chat a little bit, but let me emotionally prepare you all for a relatively short stream here because although I don't feel tired, I'm also not like sprung or anything. I should be in kind of a post-Adderall lull, but instead, because of the general momentum, energy of this chapter change, it feels like a positive chapter change, you know. Not all chapter changes do really feel positive. The ones that don't feel positive, I'm probably take a lot longer for me to acknowledge that it represents a chapter change and name it as such, and it is more likely to be a post-mortem because of my irrational optimism and tendency to maybe it's shampoo things. A reference I've mentioned before, certainly I repeated to Rachel tonight, and I'll repeat to you now. Was when Bart Simpson comes home with gum in his hair, and Marge says, "Are you sure it's not shampoo? That washes right out." I've got a little bit of that shampooing quality to me. If there's something I don't like, I'm very likely to go like, well, maybe it's shampoo. That washes right out. No, that's definitely cat puke, Eric. Are you sure it's not just a leaf? Nope. Not a leaf. I don't have any Adderall right now, but I will be getting more either tomorrow or Friday. Hopefully tomorrow. But I don't feel like fiendy, like, I better get that tomorrow. I gotta be mom. I feel happy right now. I feel like, if I gotta wait a couple days, I gotta wait a couple days. I'll definitely try to get it tomorrow. And of huge note, huge and significant note, tomorrow represents the beginning of the return to fiber internet. And, you know, Rachel and I chatted with Delilah, and as we got down to Oakhurst a little early, so we killed some time in the parking lot of the CVS. Called Delilah, chatted with her about her new Minecraft obsession. I guess she's gotten super into Minecraft, like hardcore, never stops playing it. So that was a really delightful conversation. Anyhow, where was I going with that? I got sidetracked from something into that. Well, I'm not exactly sure where I was going with that, but I will note that it feels like that's all part of the synchronicity in a chapter change. It, like, Delilah had been really sick with COVID, is still kind of in the aftermath of it. the last couple times I talked to her, she was yeah, I've heard about big questions as a format. It's not really a flow debate format. It's kind of a hybrid between public forum and Congress. Tomorrow represents the beginning of the return to fiber internet. Oh, right. Thank you, Ruben R. Wow. You really earned this wonder point by helping me remember what I was talking about. It's Wednesday. Wonder point values are doubled. With the return to fiber internet, I don't feel like I can fully anticipate what the impacts of that are going to be because she that's smart, Ruben. You're a clever Trevor. Yes, Delilah could do those things, but she doesn't really enjoy having a public profile, you know. I'm not exactly sure why. She's pretty private. I feel happy that, like, she's just chilling, not spending money, just like living and doing her thing. I'm very pleased by how responsible she is in a general sense, rather than worrying about her failing to be responsible in some other sense, What's Delilah's birthday? September 30th, 1998. What time of day was she born? I couldn't tell you the exact time, but I would say between 6 and 7 p.m. Definitely between 6 and 8 p.m. Somewhere in there. Because we were driving to that hospital during the teeth of rush hour traffic, right between 5 and 6. And Delilah popped out shortly after we got up to the birthing part of the hospital. Couldn't have been more than 3 hours from water breakage to baby coming up, which apparently is actually quite important. There's a good amount of data suggesting that there's a linkage between how difficult a birth is and how much sort of how susceptible somebody is to various kinds of ontological difficulties. I don't know if this is a 9 or a 7 enneagram thing, but this makes me think of what Eric means by shampoo and hair. I want to click it. I'll click it when I go back inside. So yeah, the change of internet is likely going to mean at least the following thing: the inclusion of more LFVs, long form video, specifically manifest as things I want to start talking about in the car. I currently don't bother to record myself ever doing that because the difficulty of uploading like high resolution videos from my phone. Even if it's like 20 minutes long, I'll have to start it before I go to bed. It's just like too much of a hassle, right? Liked it a lot when I was in Arcadia, the way that I could just record whatever on my phone, come home, have my Google Photos set to automatically sync everything, and everything would be synced. No matter how much shit I did, everything would be synced with under an hour. This is fine, creator explains the timelessness of his meme. This is fine. Yeah, I've seen that before. That's great. This is fine. It's okay. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently. That's okay. I think they're going to be okay. That's spectacular. Yeah, that's great. This is fine. That's it's very much a better way of saying I'm doing that Marge Simpson thing, shampoo hair thing. This is fine is much quicker way of saying that. Thoughts on disease X? I've not heard of disease X. Delilah is very cool. She also, I should point out, has a boyfriend. Disease X. I took 6 years of Spanish. One has to invariably ask, why? Well, I mean, I think it's a good frame of reference to talk about the subject, but I hope that they're using that good frame of reference well, which is to say, okay, we need to determine what the proper response is to disease X, um, assigning different variables to disease X and determining now what's appropriate action to take, if any, and why, and under what circumstances no action should be taken, except general informing people. Okay, boring story. So I did well in Spanish 1 and Spanish 2, but failed Spanish 3. For some reason, instead of making me take Spanish 3 again, they made me start from Spanish 1 again. Hence 6 years. So, do you feel that having taken Spanish 1, Spanish 1, Spanish 2, Spanish 2, Spanish 3, and Spanish 3, that counts as having taken Spanish 4? Do you believe that's the case? Do they have Spanish 4? At that point, shouldn't they just call it full regular Spanish? Like, they don't have English 1, English 2, English 3, unless it's a foreign language. Why, I don't doubt it was high school. My point is, once you get past Spanish 3, it shouldn't have a number anymore. It should just be Spanish. Like Spanish literature, Spanish linguistics, I don't know, whatever humanities shit there is for Spanish. Okay, so I think I'm going to wrap it up. It's 11 p.m. almost, and I'm not quite ready to go to bed, but I'd like to start winding down, which means I should probably start like watching a cartoon or something. Anywho, thanks a lot for being here. I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow.